All right, hey everybody, this is Nick from Mecha Warehouse, and today we're back with weekly update number 20. So let's start off week in review. Week in review is where I talk about what's happened this week, which is a lot this week, as well as some things that are coming up. And let's start off with this whole Mecha Warehouse gift scammer thing that happened on Wednesday. I was driving into the warehouse and my phone started absolutely blowing up with notifications, DMs on Discord, Facebook and Instagram, DMs and stuff, emails, everything, the works. And apparently somebody out there created a Mecha Warehouse gift profile. I'll try to throw a screenshot or something up here. They were sending friend requests to people who liked the page, and they were apparently talking about giving away $1,000 to 25 people. So first off, I don't do cash giveaways. So if you ever see a cash giveaway, that's crazy. If I had $25,000 to give away, I would be taking a vacation or something, because I would love to have that kind of cash in my pocket. We give away a lot of stuff, but that's way more than I can do, and definitely wouldn't do it in cash. Two, we'll never ask for like a credit card number or anything like that if you are to enter a giveaway or anything like that. So keep that in mind too. Hopefully nobody got fooled by the scam based on the number of people that messaged me about it and noticed it. I presume a lot of people are fairly savvy, but I know every once in a while somebody gets hit by a phishing scam. So hopefully nobody got had by this, and that everybody's safe, so to speak, on the internet and all that stuff. But I want to put that out there. It was definitely not me, and definitely not Mecha Warehouse. The other thing coming up is that tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary of the Quarantine Proof Your Backlog ad that we ran right at the beginning of the lockdowns. I don't know about everywhere if the lockdowns probably happened at different times, but here in New Hampshire, Friday the 13th was the day they decided the schools were going to shut down for a couple weeks, and everything was kind of starting to shut down here. And it also happened to be the day that I published the Quarantine Proof Your Backlog ad. That's the one where I was in my attic throwing stuff over my shoulders and telling you needed to buy. I was throwing stuff over my shoulders and telling you that you needed to buy gunpla rather than, wear masks and buy hoard toilet paper and stuff. So I don't want to go into too much detail. I've got a video that's actually going to publish tomorrow where I talk a lot more about this. But huge thing, huge anniversary and a moment in time that really kind of put Mecha Warehouse on. So definitely check out that video tomorrow. All right, next up, Restocks. Restocks, we got a pretty good set of restocks this week, and restocks are interesting this week as well. The entire batch, 90% of it say that came in this week is actually the result of just some dumb luck. So I had a distributor for one of my other, a rep from one of my other distributors contact me and say that they had another shop that they were generating orders for. They had stuff come in or whatever, but had not been able to actually receive these orders. And so they asked me if I wanted the stuff. And I looked through it and grabbed the things that were interesting. Or that I needed. There are a few things I passed on, but a lot of the stuff that we did get, it's lower quantity stuff. It's not, cases of whatever kit. It might be 12. There are a few things where I got 2 or 3 or 4 of something because it's just an awesome kit. And I figured it was doing better to buy it and sell out really fast than to not have done it. And so that's kind of what's going on with the restocks this week. So if any of these things are calling to you, I wouldn't sit on them, because with maybe like one exception, these were all, 1 or 2 exceptions, most of these were all things that I got like, small quantities of, a dozen or less, give or take. Some of them I got a lot of. So first up, this is a new release actually, so this is not part of that, and that is this spherical striker Mugen Claris type, brand new kit. These are interesting if you haven't seen these around yet. They've definitely got a different look if you're looking for something mecha but not Gundam. That would not be a bad place to start. But on to the rest of the stuff. So we got some GM ground types in, only a few of these in. There's a bunch of the really low quantity things I'm not even going to show, so you're going to have to check the website and see if they're still available. GM Custom, this has been popular. I did get a decent number of these, so those aren't super urgent. Got about 10 of these DOM test types in. Any of these high grade Gundam the Origin kits are just outright awesome kits. I think we got a few other ones in. I think I got maybe one more to show, but there's a few others on the shelf that came in. We got the high grade Delta Kai. If you're into the Hyakushiki and Zeta designs, that's a pretty cool design. Q-Blade high grade, big kit right there. High grade double Zeta Gundam, ZZ Gundam. Another big one right there. We got some small ones. What we got here? We got the Iron-Blooded Orphans option set 4 in Union Mobile Worker. Those option sets are kind of cool. Extra weapons and accessories and stuff. And we got some SD Gundam Exia. This is the SDBB line, which I've heard from people is the more premium SD line in their opinion. Maybe other than the SDCS. Mars 4 weapons pack, as well as the brown version of the 30-minute missions tank. So I built the green version of this one on stream late last year, and kit bashed it with it was an Alto ground type, I think. And it's a really cool kit if you want to add tank treads to something, if you want to build the tank. There's a lot of cool stuff in here to play with accessory-wise. Definitely worth checking out if that's something you're into. Few others left here. We got the SDBB Unicorn Gundam Banshee. Another one of these Gundam the Origins, the gun tank early type. This is a pretty cool looking kit. I've got one on my backlog. I really want to build one of these myself. I think it looks a lot cooler than the like original Mobile Suit Gundam gun tank. It's definitely like a beefier design, more realistic in some ways. HG Seed Hyperion Gundam. And then we got Port Nova red and black in. We got these in quantities of the red, not too bad on the black, but also worth checking out. So those are just the things that we've got decent quantities of. There are a few things that I got like 2 of. I think there was a few Gundam the Origin kits and a few other things. So it's worth perusing the website, but who knows, they might be gone before you see this. So don't wait. All right, let's do Q&A. I got a whole ton of questions this week. I want to try to answer a lot of them. So as a reminder, Q&A, I answer questions from the viewers. So if you have a question that you want answered, please post in the comments below. I love answering questions and hopefully give you some insight, whether it's into the gunpla industry, so to speak, if it's Mecha Warehouse, my own personal life, whatever it is, please ask away. All right, so first up, we have a question from Tim Lee, and Tim asks, question, are the P Bandai offerings in the USA limited compared to Asia, or are we on a delayed release schedule? There seems to be quite a few things they offer that I don't see in the USA P Bandai website. I know you don't carry P Bandai because we should be able to order straight from them, but for things we can't, would you consider carrying those items? For example, any of the MG Zaku Phantom, MG/Zaku. So my understanding is, and this is not an insider perspective necessarily, but my understanding is that they are a little bit delayed here in the US in listing the same items. I don't know if that means that if something sells it really fast in Japan, they might wait till the next cycle, or what the deal is with that, or why or how, or any of the specifics. But my understanding is that's what happens. And because of that, I don't know that I could even stock the ones that they don't have here, because I would have to anticipate them not listing it here in order to do that, which is hard. I have to like go back in time, because otherwise I'm ordering stuff that probably will show up here, and then I'm back to the original problem. All right, next question from Mini Anji. Good stuff, boss man. Question, what do you have in stock that has been there a long time that you figured would have sold out by now? In contrast, was there anything that you worried wouldn't sell but ended up selling like hotcakes? Sure. So there definitely been things that I thought would sell super fast in faster quantities than they did, and didn't. And trying to think of one that is in stock right now, so a relatively recent one. Because I mean, there have been things like Kotobukiya products that I purchased way back that have resided in like every version of the Mecha warehouse when it was my hallway, my attic, and then here. But more recent stuff, what has sold, what has not sold recently that I thought would sell pretty well? I'll be right back. So to take a look around and try to refresh my memory. I think one really good example of an item that I thought would sell pretty quickly but didn't was pretty much any of the Flame Toys Transformer kits. They're great kits. They're a little more expensive. Apparently people either don't know to look for them or can't see them on the website, but a lot of those have been sticking around for quite a while. I definitely have some of those that have been around for a year or longer and are still on the shelf. So I guess maybe I should think about clearancing them. On the flip side, I guess a good example of one that I thought wouldn't sell well but sold really well was the Haro Kitty, and even the Hello Kitty. I didn't really expect to sell as rapidly as it did. That was interesting. It's not something I'd be into, and I guess I shouldn't always use my own judgment in terms of what I think will sell. But that's a pretty good example right there. That and the cup noodle kit. I never thought that one would sell well, but it's done pretty well. Okay, next one is 96786. Victor asks, question, do you think Mecha Warehouse website will let people know when you're low on stock of something and when it gets to 10 or less, saying buy now? Shh. The new website's coming. Hopefully next week. I gotta shore some things up and make sure I'm waiting on a piece of artwork. But the new website does have stock indication in certain range, so you will know when there's less than 10 left. Say. MWG, great video. How about this? Would you rather live in Universal Century or After Colony, Gundam Wing, and why? Huh. I don't know. They both sound kind of terrible. I think it depends on where you're living. If I were living on, oh, I don't know. I think if I was living on Earth, Universal Century sounds horrible because there were how many like existential threats to the Earth itself throughout the entire timeline. I guess it depends on where you are in there, but between having colonies drop and those kind of things, that just sounds horrible. But I guess it might have happened in the After Colony too, kind of similar stuff. So I don't know. It seems like Universal Century though, mobile suits are a little bit more ubiquitous. So I don't know. Maybe UC, because it seems less tyrannical at times, but it depends on which year. Okay, next one. Andy Kim says, thanks, Nick, for an awesome video. I can't wait to get some paints and start airbrushing indoors. Any recommendations on how I should set up? This is a great question. So I'm not a terribly experienced painter with airbrushing and all that stuff, but what I would suggest if you're painting indoors is you need some sort of airbrushing booth. There are portable booths, which are a good place to start. I think I bought one. It was a Masters one, I think. It folds up fairly compact so you can store it, but it basically is like a little hood thing and a fan and a hose that you can stick out a window, and that will help suck the particulates out of the air, blow them out the window so you're not breathing that stuff in. And so that, I think, is number one. You could improvise and build your own. I think there's probably tutorials out there on how to do that, but that would be the biggest thing. And then obviously you need an airbrush, you need a compressor, and all that stuff. But the most important thing about your setup, I think, is how you're going to deal with ventilation. If you can't do that, then like a garage or something where you can open the door at least might help. Maybe a big honking fan to blow all that stuff out of there, and a mask if you can't, or a mask even if you are, depending on what kind of paints you use. All right, Nike 629 asks like a bunch of questions. Let's see if I can hit these rapid fire here. Have you gotten the MG expansion part sets for Mobile Suit Gundam EW series, Glory of Losers? If not, will you? No and no, just not interested. I think I addressed that last week. What do you think the reason is for the scarcity of MGs lately? I think it's probably just where they are in the cycle, and they probably decided to tool up for a bunch of high grades. You can probably produce more high grades in a given time period than master grades, and at least in Japan, high grades are pretty darn popular, and it probably just has to do with production efficiency. Will this year finally be the year when Bandai does something for age? Maybe. The anniversary is coming up, or is this year? I think so. Probably, but who knows? And what do you think the odds are of getting an MG GN1 Gundam XE version 2 being made anytime in the near future? They are rolling out the other 00 kits in master grade form, the Dynamez and Curios. I don't know what's next, but I have a feeling they'll probably come back around to it. The XE is a pretty popular design. All right, next one, Teen Hamodic says, thought of a question: are you in contact with the various owners, large or small, of your competitors? If so, do you guys work together for the community as a whole? If not, any reasons why, other than the fact that they are competitors? So this is a really good question, or series of questions, and really interesting thing. I'll try to shed some light on what's going on there. So yes, I have been in contact. I've spoken to at least two of the largest store owners in the US here. In both cases, they reached out to me, not the other way around. One for, well, I don't want to get into details on either of them. Some advice sharing, some just proposals, if you will. And so I have had those conversations before. As far as working together, no, I have not. And I think that's severalfold. Competition is one of those things. It's hard to kind of get involved in that way with a competitor. In some ways, it would probably be to my advantage to say, take the JV slot with a major supplier. I'd probably get more publicity out of it than the other way around. But I don't know. It doesn't feel right to me, and I've never really wanted to work with other people in that capacity anyway. I mean, one of the reasons I run my own business is because having any decision made about what I do and the decisions I want to make being in the hands of somebody else sucks. If I didn't have to have suppliers and I could just make what I sell, I would do that instead. Not because I don't like any of these people or that they don't make good stuff or any of any of those reasons, but more because I just don't like having to wait for someone else to make a decision, or disagreeing with somebody else. It's a bummer, and that was why I got out of it. So I think that's my reason. And I don't know, if there were a good thing to collaborate on, I probably would, but I'm not actively looking for those opportunities right now. So hopefully that kind of answers that question. And looks like I'm at the end of the questions. So once again, if you have a question, please ask it down below. I would love to have a bunch of questions for next week. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next week. Later.